We have a very tricky question for you. Which motorbike is that? Which is absolutely good and sufficient for long dimension touring as well. But if you wish, you can ride it on a curvy road just like a super motard. The answer is the absolutely new 2021 version of the KTM 1290S version. Let's check out what kind of motorbike it became. The model itself arrived to the market in 2015 and it renewed every second year. After 2 years, KTM finished the 30-liter fuel tank version, and from 2017 they had only 2 available versions of the motorbike, the 1290 Super Adventure, the R version, which had a 21 and an 18-inch wheel, and the S version, which had a 19 and a 17-inch rim in the front and in the rear, of course. And after last year, so after 2020, they constructed a totally new motorbike. So this is not a facelift, this is a brand new 1290 Super Adventure S. Let's check out what kind of motorbike it became for 2021. So all the main parts of the motorbike are changed. The main frame also changed, the subframe is totally new, and the swing arm is a longer version than in the previous models, any of the previous models KTM used. And the whole geometry of the motorbike, the weight transfer between the 2 axles also, so all these things are changed, and which is a very, very well seeable, let's say, thing or innovation is that the fuel tank, which is also 23 liters, just as in the previous models, it moved down, just as in the case of the 970 and 870 models, moved down here, so it makes the center of gravity pretty low and gives a really wide down part, wide looking, like a bulldog looking to the whole motorbike. Because when you are riding this bike on a curvy road, then this KTM 1290 Super Adventure S with its relatively, we can say, small front wheel, the 19-inch front wheel, and wide tires, 120 in the front and 170 in the rear. So this is really, and of course with its absolutely unbelievable WP suspension. It's really acting closely than a playing supermotor. You don't feel the weight of it. It's just a game when you are riding on a curvy road. Gives such a pleasure which nearly none of the other touring motorbikes can. The engine itself didn't change according to its mean parameters, because it's 1301 cubic centimeter, very huge V2. The 160 brake horsepower maximum power output is also the same, although the torque moved down with 2 Newton meters, now it's 138, but it was necessary because the engine now knows the Euro 5 emission norms. But anyhow, despite of this, let's say, stability, from the inside part, the engineers rebuilt the whole engine, because the overall engine weight became less with more than 1.5 kilos. Suspension always was one of the strongest, or maybe the strongest part of KTM motorcycles. Here we have two WP telescopic forks in the front. We can change all the parameters of them electronically, and they can do it automatically as well. And the rear suspension is just the same. So the whole motorbike is always according to our riding style, the road quality and things like this. And in the rear suspension, even the preload is automatically changing. So if our wife is sitting behind us, or just a heavier rider is jumping on the bike, then the preload always automatically changes to the conditions.
The automatic behavior of the suspension becomes really a great advantage when you think that a few minutes ago I was riding on a very good curvy road on a sporty way, and now it's a bumpy bullshit on the right side of the road I just riding on. And even this part, it was absolutely comfortable because the suspension automatically changes the whole working of it.
The position of the water coolers and the side panels forms also changed, and the goal of it was that the engineers wanted to reach that less warm air should go to the knees and the legs of the rider. On the first riding or testing day of the bike, I was lucky enough to ride on the first 30-degree outside temperature day here in Hungary this spring, and afterwards, after this day, I can say that when I was riding in city, still a lot of warm air went to my knees and legs. But we even have an anti-dive system which keeps the front suspension elements stronger when we make, for example, a hard braking. So you can see on the display that when it is on, then it is so nice, but when it is off, it's going to sit down just like this. Let's check out how is it working when we are braking.
Let's check out the braking with a switched off anti-dive system. And now with an active one. And because of the electronic damping control of the front suspension, it's really acting like that when you relatively hard pull the front brake when doing hard cornering, as I did it just now, then the bike is absolutely stays stable, and you don't feel that typical behavior that it wants to leave the line what you are riding at the moment. So you can nearly absolutely normally use the front brake when even doing hard curving. You can see it now as well.
The electronical part of the motorbike and the whole menu system and all of his knowledge is really unbelievable, so complicated, and even though so much user-friendly that it's nearly unbelievable. Let's just check out the main dashboard. Let's start the engine for it. We have an RPM counter and a lot of data all around. For example, these four, the downer part of the dashboard, can be changed just as you wish them. And from the left handlebar, with these very new and very user-friendly buttons and joysticks and everything, you can go into the main menu and you have a lot of information about the motorbike, and you can set up everything. For example, here on this main dashboard we can see that we have a lot of fuel, the tire pressures are okay, the liquid and the oil cooler elements are too cold, and we do not have a battery charge at the moment. But from here we have trip computer data. We can change the riding modes of the motorbike. Just check out how many riding modes we have. Off-road and even a rally mode we have. So even this street-oriented 1290 Super Adventure S version has a hard off-road electronic package. But we also can change the suspension. We can use the adaptive cruise control and set it up just as we wish. We will show it to you a little bit later. We have the KTM My Ride system, so you can connect the bike with your mobile phone, you can navigate, you can do anything from your mobile phone, and you see all of these things on the colorful dashboard. And honestly, this is so complicated that this part we are not going to show you at all because we have no time for it, and we have the settings section.
Let's check out the active cruise control system. Now I switch it on to 90 kilometers per hour, and now it accelerates until I reach 90. Meanwhile, I can change the gears and do anything. I only do not use my right hand at all. And now it shows with the coloring to green the car symbol that it sees a car with its radar detector in front of the motorbike and starts to reduce the speed, so uses the engine brake, uses the system brakes and everything else. The only thing I do not have to use is my right hand. It follows the car with a safe following distance, which I can change in 5 different levels, always with a safe distance. And in the moment when I change the lane, it immediately and automatically increases the speed until we reach the amount what I fixed for it. And when the car in front of us starts to brake, then the KTM system immediately uses the normal brake system and slows down the bike without I would use the brake lever, so without any kind of rider interruption, it decreases the speed for our safety.
Check out just how many suspension programs do we have. We have the Sport, the Street, the Comfort, the Off-Road, one Advanced, which we can build to according to our wishes, and an absolutely automatic.
The windshield, which is also redesigned, has 8 different positions. This is the upper part, or the uppest, and this is the lowest, and there are 8 different positions where it is fixed, or it can be fixed. But anyhow, the big difference is that in the lowest part there is a pretty big wind noise, and I have a lot of bugs on the helmet. And when I lift it up to the highest one, then there are much less bugs, but the wind noise is not very, very low, at least with my 190 centimeter height.
The new KTM 1290 Super Adventure S became such a wonderful and very, very good motorbike that really we cannot give back all the impressions to you during this short review. It knows so many things with the suspension, with the power, with the touring abilities and the enjoyment on a curvy road that you will believe it only if you try this motorbike in a KTM dealership. There are not too many things which we can say as negative things, but for example one of them is the straight line running, which is at very, very high speeds, which are not allowed on public roads, only in Germany. But at very, very high speeds, really the straight line running is not the best, so that could be better. But what is a negative part there on a curvy road that's going to come back several times. So if you want to know the complicated menu, all of its electronical parts, knowledge, and of course to try it, then visit a KTM dealership and check it by yourself, because you will believe it only if you did it. If you liked our review, please push a thumb up on it. In the description you can find a link where you can donate our work. Please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents as well, and thanks a lot that you were keeping with us knowing the new KTM.